Hey, Scott here. So I wanted to do a little bit of a video expanding on what I said yesterday about how many reps should you do when you're doing an exercise. First, if you hear a noise in the background, it's gardeners outside, so I can't do anything about that. So how many reps should you do when you're training? So yesterday I wrote an article explaining why you shouldn't be so married to one rep range. I know people like training, say, in the 4 to 6 rep range, or they like doing 5x5s, or some people really get married to the 8 to 10 or the 8 to 12 rep range. And you've got others, on the other hand, who really like doing the high reps. And people tend to sit in these camps for almost their whole training career. They won't never ever venture into the higher rep range, or the higher rep range crew will never venture into the low rep range. But by doing that, you're really missing a lot of muscle potential and transformation potential from just staying in one camp. So I posted yesterday about how you should do each. So let's say you do the 4 to 6 rep range, or maybe you do a 6 to 8 rep range. That's your kind of low end. But then you should also have a section of your workout fit into mid range. So you should fit into the 8 to 10 or the 10 to 12 rep range. Then also some exercises from your workout should fit into the high rep range, up to 12 to 15 or even 15 plus. And you should have a structure that fits each of these into one single workout. So let's say you go into the gym today, part of your workout should go low, part of your workout should go medium, and part of your workout should go high. And you should follow this pattern for every single workout that you ever do. No matter if it's upper body, lower body, or if it's a full body workout, you should have a section of each. The reason being is that you tap into different muscle fibers and you tap into different training systems from doing each rep range. So for me, the first part of my workout will always be low reps. I'm really focusing on strength, and I'm really trying to progress my lifts week by week. And normally these are compound movements. So these are things like deadlifts, squats, bent over rows, bench presses, shoulder presses. And they're always barbell or dumbbell. So they're my big movements, very, very rarely machine. And it's a 4 to 6 or a 6 to 8 rep range. And then the mid rep of my workout, so there's like the B exercises and the C exercises. These fit into like the 6 to 8 or more normally the 8 to 12 rep range. Again here, I'm still progressing my lifts. I'm trying to aim for PBs or rep increases or weight increases from the previous week. And again, these are still normally barbell, dumbbell, and sometimes a bit of machine fits in here. So machines would normally fit in here for legs particularly, back particularly. The gym I go to has very nice back machines. And again, I'm still progressing my lifts there though. Then the C section or the D section or even the E section, this is where I start fitting into a little bit more of the upper rep range now. So I'm probably gonna go for like 10 to 15s in here. And again, these are now coming away from like the barbell stuff. Sometimes dumbbell, but again, these are now more machine associated. The reason why these are now more machine associated is that I've done my big heavy lifting compound stuff. Now I'm trying to isolate the muscle a little bit more. This is why I move on to more machines. Here, I'm still trying to progress my lifts. I'm still trying to hit PBs and add reps, but this is also a bit my metabolic part of the workout now. Because the reps are so high, it's called the metabolic part. So I'm actually tapping into different muscle fibers now, and I'm training a different training system. And then finally, my last section of the workout, which could be the E series, the F series, this is where I'm really going into the high reps. So these are like 12 to 15s, 15 plus, sometimes even like 20, 25s, particularly on like some leg machine stuff, or if it's a cable machine like flies or side raises. This is very metabolic. Sometimes do quite a bit of supersetting here on the same muscle to get more muscle metabolic damage through the muscle. And this is all about getting the pump. So I'm not necessarily thinking here about really increasing the weight, but I am thinking about increasing the reps from the previous week. And this is how I think you should structure a workout. And this can be used for if you train full body, if you train half body, if you train push-pull, any split you can associate it with those. Or even if you do push-pull legs, you can associate it to that as well. Don't get me started on the bro split. If you're doing the bro split, you're wasting your fucking time. Change that, get rid of that bro split, okay? So, but what I want to expand on this video is that's how your workout should look. But again, you don't need to be married to the first exercise has to be only 4 to 6 reps or 6 to 8. It doesn't. Let's say in the first exercise, you're doing a generic 3 sets. And before I go any deeper, 3 sets for an exercise is more than enough. You really don't need to be doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets if your training goal is muscle building and fat loss, okay? And I'll get deeper into this in a minute, but actually I do a lot of exercise with just 2 sets. So let's say your first exercise, let's say you're doing deadlifts, you're doing 3 sets. Let's say the first set is 4 to 6 reps. You're really, really focusing on lifting heavy and progressing a PB from last week. Then let's say the second set, you're not gonna be able to maintain that. You're not gonna be able to hit a PB and hit a PB again. It's just not gonna happen because your training stimulus from the first set is high. You'd already be relatively fatigued going into your second set. So what I would do here is I would drop the weight and I would increase the reps. So let's say my first set was 4 to 6. My second set now will be 6 to 8 and I've reduced the weight. And when I would say reduce the weight, there's no like percentage that you have to stick by to reduce the weight. This is where a training log comes in handy. So you'd write down what you did last week, next week you try and get it. So now I'm in my second set. I'm still trying to hit a PB, but I'm hitting a PB from last week's second set. So let's say last week I've got 7 reps on a 100 kilograms on my second set. So this week I'll probably stick to 100 kilograms and I'll try and get 8 reps because my rep range, remember, for this second set is 6 to 8. And in my final set of deadlifts, I'll do exactly the same. So I'll reduce the weight, but I'll increase the reps. And let's say my final set of deadlifts, I'm now going to go for 8 to 10 reps. And again, I'm still trying to hit a PB, but I'm hitting a PB from last week's third set. Okay, so it's all relevant to what we did last week on that rep range. And you see, just from that first exercise and just from deadlifts, I've got a 4 to 6 rep range on the first set. I've got a 6 to 8 rep range on the second set. And I've got 8 to 10 rep range on the third set. And that's actually how I structure all of my training sessions and majority of my clients, particularly if they're trying to build muscle. This is a very, very, very good training system and training style for building muscle. But it can also be transferred onto fat loss. I would also use this for fat loss if the person's goal was still to build muscle and like optimal body composition, and they're quite an experienced trainer, and they've been lifting weights for a long time. They've got a training log. They know what their weights are. I'll still use this training system for fat loss. I'll just manipulate their calories. If you're a bit newer to training and you have got a lot of excess weight to lose and you're not quite muscular, then I probably wouldn't use this for you. This is maybe a little bit more advanced, but again, it's a great training system, a great training style for building muscle and a bit more advanced lifter. So let's say that's my first exercise done. Let's say now we're going to go on to my second exercise. Let's say this is a leg day. So my second exercise now is going to be a hack squat machine. So I've just hit my glutes and hamstrings hard on the deadlifts. I'm now going to a hack squat machine. Right now, this is where people probably don't agree, but I promise you this is the best style to train. The second, the third, the fourth exercise, you really don't need to be doing 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets. I'm gonna be doing 2 sets on my second exercise, and I do this pretty much for all of my workouts. The first exercise, I'll do a 3-set system. Then the second exercise onwards, I just do a 2-set system. The reason being is I know what weights I've got to be doing, right? So no set that I ever do in the gym is like a half-assed set or a not optimal performance set, because I know exactly what numbers I've got to beat from last week and I progress it. So I'm not doing like 2 get me ready for my top sets. I'm doing maybe a couple of warm-up sets to get me ready for my top set. My warm-up sets are like 1 to 5 reps. So when I'm going into my first working set, it's all out. It's like balls to the wall. There's no kind of prepping the body for anything. It's just, I'm going straight in. Like, I've got a big weight to lift and I've got my numbers from last week and I've got to beat those numbers. So I would only need to do 2 sets. And again, the training style, how I set the reps out for this is very similar to the first exercise. So let's say I've got my hack squat. Normally I'll do a little bit higher reps on the hack squat. So my first set would be a 6 to 10. So I'm still working that strength rep range. I'm still working more like fast twitch muscle fibers. And I'm tapping into that training system. Now I've done my 6 to 8 reps. My second set and my final set, I'm not going to be able to maintain that weight for another 6 to 10 reps. It's not possible, particularly if I'm hitting PBs on my previous week's training log. So my second set, I would then up the reps to say 10 to 15 or 10 to 12. And I've got the number written down from last week, what I hit, and I've got to try and do that again. If I can progress the weight from that second set, remember it's still lighter than the first set because the reps have gone up, but if I can progress the weight from the first week to the second week on that higher rep range, then I will. And then once I've done that, that's 2 working sets. That's me done for that exercise. I'll then go on to my next exercise. Okay, see how it makes sense there? So what I'm trying to get is my first set is normally the lower rep range. My second set is the medium rep range. And if I'm doing a third set, it'll be medium to high. If I'm just doing 2 sets, the first set will be like the low to mid range, and the second set will be like the mid to high range. And again, you're tapping into all training systems here by doing this, and you're doing the same exercise, not the chop and change exercises. And what I want you to remember from this is that I get all my clients to train full body or upper lower splits. So if we're doing upper lower splits, it means they'll train 4 times a week. So it means they're training every single muscle twice a week. If they're doing full body, they're doing full body 3 workouts a week, which means they're hitting every single muscle 3 times a week. But just volume's a little bit less than the upper lower split. Let's say we're doing upper lower splits. Let's say my lower body split, let's say I've got 8 working sets in that whole workout, which isn't very much at all. But when you're training like I've just explained to you right there, it's a lot. It's very challenging. There's a lot of weight being shifted. There's a lot of intensity. And remember, we're doing that twice a week. So we're doing 16 working sets a week across 2 days, which is plenty. It is more than enough. You don't need to do more than 16 sets on a particular body part or a muscle more than a week. That's completely fine. That is enough. There's this belief that people always want to do more and do more and do more. Like if you got a lagging body part, let's say your chest is your lagging body part, that you need to go and do more sets, more reps. You really, really don't. What you need to do is you need to focus on execution. You need to focus on actually properly training that muscle. And a lot of times this comes from doing less, but getting more from less. So you could be doing 30 sets on chest in one workout. It's like the dumbest thing ever. After about 5 sets, your chest is pretty fried. So the next 25 sets onwards you're just accumulating poor fatigue. And poor fatigue is what's going to lead to injuries and poor lifting technique. This is why I'm very keen on getting my clients and myself particularly to do low amounts of sets, do relatively low amount of volume per session, but we do that twice a week. So I'm not frying my chest when I work out. I'm not walking out the gym like, oh, I can't lift my arms. That's not a goal. It's like people wanting to sweat. That isn't the goal. The goal is to go in, do what's adequate to get the stimulus that you need in the muscle, and then progress it week by week. And then by doing this, you're going to see the greatest return on your time spent in the gym. Going to the gym and doing 30 sets on chest is not a good and a wise way of spending your time in the gym. And then leave it another 7 days to train it again. It's not wise in the slightest. So try what I've just explained right there. Try that of your training, particularly gym training, particularly goals muscle building. It's a great way to tap into all training systems, all muscle fibers. It's a great way to build muscle quickly, and it's a good way to keep your lifting intensity high by splitting your training into upper lowers or full bodies, okay? So there's no real miracle rep range. I feel like you should tap into each. Don't get married to one rep range only, because you'll be neglecting a lot of results and leaving a lot of results on the table from just doing that, okay? I hope that helps. And guys, if you ever need any like tips or you want me to specifically cover a certain topic, tell me and I'll do it for the YouTube channel.